Good morning to those of you out there on the West Coast. Good afternoon to those of you here on the East Coast with me. I'm excited to get started today talking about chasing federal opportunities, especially ones that are slam dunk or perfect winners for you. Before we get going, I just wanted to talk with you about, give you a quick tip for those showing up early and on time. I appreciate you showing up early and on time and then engaging in the chat. And so for my tip as it relates to today's training is remember Stephen Covey's habit, begin with the end in mind. Today, we're going to be talking about opportunities, and there's a whole idea behind where opportunities fit into the process, et cetera. But when you begin with the end in mind, the sales and revenue goals you've set for your company, then you'll be able to sit there and define what you need in opportunities, the things we're going to talk about today. An example is I was talking with somebody yesterday, a customer, and we were talking about their 2024 revenue goals. That means how much money do they want to make and report to the tax or IRS at the end of 2024. That's revenue goals to me. Your sales goal then is what's needed to deliver that revenue. And what I told them as we were walking through is your revenue goal is for next year. The sales goal to get that revenue goal is this year. So 2023, we've got 6 months left. What is your sales goal that you're trying to achieve that'll enable you to hit your revenue goal? That's kind of begin with the end of the mind, begin with the end in mind. It's a tip I just wanted to share as a way to say thank you to those showing up early and on time, give you a little extra bonus information there, if you will. Okay, let's get rocking and rolling on our training. Let me get my tech going here. Okay, and again, today we're going to be talking about opportunities, and I say the opportunities are for growth as we move forward. So we want to chase opportunities, and I always describe opportunities when I teach federal sales is that you only want slam dunk opportunities. I have a whole nother training. I have multiple trainings, but a whole nother one that was recent, last 4 weeks, that is on slam dunk opportunities. What are they? How do you define the criteria? How do you as a company put in place that criteria so you can qualify opportunities much faster? I have a whole training on just the idea behind slam dunk as we move forward. If you don't know this, by the way, we train every single day. We're well past 300 trainings in a row, basically on business days, including holidays, by the way, so weekdays, not business days, but 300 plus in the last 15 months. And so there's a lot of training. All of it is related to federal sales success. And so today we're going to be talking about federal sales opportunities, right? And I just want to put it in context with the 7-step process that I teach for revenue success in the federal market. In order to get sales, you need to submit to the government a winning proposal, one that has a full chance of winning, right? There might be 3 companies that submit a winning proposal, and then your probability of winning is 30%, 33%, because 3 winning proposals. But you want to make sure you're not submitting losing proposals, right? Big difference. And in order to do that, you need to have slam dunk opportunities in your sales pipeline. That pipeline can be a spreadsheet or whatever fancy tool you have, but somehow you got to be tracking and working on slam dunk opportunities. We'll talk more about that in a minute, but that's what today's training is. In order to find those, you want strategic relationships. In order to have strategic relationships, you need to pick up the phone and start calling new people so you can build new relationships. And in order to do that, targeting is about building a list of 1 to 200 people who are at your target agency. And that all begins with research, caring enough about your customer to go in and learn that agency almost better than anybody in that agency. And so that's the 7-step process. Today, we're going to be talking about the 5th step here, opportunities. And I'm going to cover down on what are opportunities, why are the right opportunities, not just opportunities, but the right opportunities vital to your success, when you should be looking for opportunities, at what point, once a month, once a week, once a year, who can help you with the opportunities, who can tell you about them, and then how you can go find the opportunities. I'm going to give you 9 ways that you can find opportunities to put into your pipeline, remembering that is got the criteria for a slam dunk over all of those 9 methods. If you don't know who I am, my name is Neil McDonnell. I'm the president of the GovCon Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome you to my federal sales training, where I provide tips for success in the federal market. I spent 20 years as a small business owner doing what many of you are doing, and since 2018, I've been teaching people like you that government contracting is not a secret. It's just a process, A to Z. When you follow that process, you're going to have repeatable, predictable results. In this case, it's research to sales to have that predictable result. Do me a favor, put your company name and your core competency into the chat. I'm going to a networking event. Jennifer Schaus is hosting a networking event in DC. So I'm going up there. I'd like to have as many of your businesses in my mind in case somebody goes, hey, do you know this or that? Because there's going to be a lot of large businesses there. There's going to be a lot of agency folks there. And there's certainly going to be a lot of other small businesses out there. And so put your company information in so I know who you are. And then the buyers who visit our training know who you are, and other people in the community. One question I had for you as we move forward, I am curious because I'm going to talk about opportunities, and opportunities belong in a pipeline. What tool do you use to track your opportunities? What is your sales pipeline tool? Is it a spreadsheet? Is it a fancier tool? Are you using some subscription service? Put that into the chat. One, I'm kind of curious on a little poll, right? But the other is other people might look at something you put in and go, oh, maybe I should try that way. So just what tool do you use to track your company's opportunities? What's your pipeline tool? Let's dive into what are opportunities. The first thing about an opportunity, just to clarify, right? It's an explicit requirement from the federal government. I describe business development is about going out and finding implied requirements or implied needs that they have, and you're trying to turn them to explicit requirements so they become an opportunity. Well, opportunities are those very explicit requirements. The customer is saying, we know we have this need, here it is. And another way of thinking about what opportunities are, especially the ones that are in the pipeline, I'm going to give you comparing two different ways of looking at it, but really the right opportunities in the pipeline. If you worked for me and I'm measuring your success on how strong your pipeline is, I want to see requirements that are expected to drop. That means the RFP date is out there. So that's when the RFP is dropping. That's the opportunity RFP date is 3 to 24 plus months out. And the reason I'm saying that is because part of the whole need for opportunities is so that we can get started with capture. And the less time you have for capture, the less chance you have to influence really anything on that opportunity, right? But the longer you have, the more chance you have to influence it. So I want to see a pipeline that has at least opportunities that are at least 3 to 24 months out. So if you're by the way, if you're a newer business, et cetera, maybe you're not going out 24 plus months, right? It's okay to stay within that 12-month window, but at least give yourself time to build the relationships. Counter this with opportunities that are 2 months or less. When I see opportunities like that, I feel like we're down to the wire. I feel like the government is probably pretty far along in their acquisition process. If it's 2 months out, they're probably all done the requirements discussion. They're probably even having thought about the set aside in the vehicle. And now they're just dotting the I's and crossing the T's, going to legal or writing the documentation of that acquisition, the RFP documentation. And so within that 2 months, you're not going to have a lot of room to move. Yes, you can definitely pursue those. And by the way, if they've been in your pipeline for a while, those aren't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about adding something new into your pipeline that's expected to drop in 2 months. If it's expected to drop 2 months or less, then you're doing less sales and capture and you're doing more bidding. That's a choice. You can definitely choose to do that. I might do that if it's completely in my core competency. I'm like, oh, I can get that. I don't need to capture. I'm just going. It's like, okay, that's your choice. But think of it. The opportunities we're really talking about today are the ones that are 3+ months out. So another way of thinking about what opportunities are, these are the opportunities your company wants to win. If you looked into FPDS, it has all the contracts basically that have been awarded by the federal government. Look in there and choose your all-time favorites. That's what you should do. You and your team should spend days going into FPDS and going, which ones do we wish we had won? Look at that one. It's $10 million. That one is $50 million. That one's $500,000. It doesn't matter what the value is. You're looking at the work, right? That's what opportunities, that's the definition of an opportunity to me, is a piece of work that you want to win. And I describe these as slam dunk opportunities because they're aligned completely with your core competency. We have a customer, their core competency is Microsoft 365 with a real big focus on SharePoint and Power Platform. And so when they look at opportunities and it's a Microsoft 365 or it's a SharePoint opportunity, it's a slam dunk because it aligns with their core competency. And when possible, it should align with your target agency, meaning if you're going after HHS, make sure the opportunity is in HHS. A way to expand that a little bit, if you have such a niched core competency, is to look at agencies where you could get into. An example is for that company I just mentioned, for example, they're not in DoD. So it's unrealistic to put an opportunity in DoD into the pipeline. It's better for you to put in DHS, VA, or HHS as an example, because it's a lot easier to get in from a security standpoint. So think about that. The one thing rule I give people is there's no rationalization when it comes to your sales pipeline and when you're putting opportunities in. If there's 4 of us sitting around and somebody is having to rationalize why that opportunity is good for our company, then we don't even have to argue. That's a sign that it's not right. The opposite sign is when they show the opportunity and they be quiet and the opportunity screams at us and all of us go, oh my God, that was made for us. The only thing we need to do is put our company name on top, and that was written for us. That's a slam dunk. It doesn't require rationalization. Those opportunities are out there. That's called business development when you're going out to find those. But you can do that. Okay, let's talk about why opportunities are so important, why your sales pipeline needs to be filled with these right opportunities, these slam dunk opportunities. First and foremost, right, they are the lifeblood of your company. Your company will not grow. It will not survive without opportunities in the pipeline. I've seen companies do this where you look and they'll go up into the millions, tens of millions, and then straight back down because they just operated on their existing contract. They weren't putting opportunities in the pipeline. The opportunities, especially once you start having some success, the opportunities you put in today are for 2025, right? 24 and 25, but really you're looking at 25 and 26. If you're newer, it's thinking quarters and months out there. But really, when you put an opportunity in, you're ensuring the company has the lifeblood of opportunities. Opportunities are the blood in your company's body. It has the blood that it needs to survive and grow. Opportunities, the right opportunities in there, sure. And I'm sure that was supposed to be ensure. And that was all on me, by the way. Ensure predictable revenue, right? I want to look out and know that I'm going to have at least this much revenue. So if I'm a $5 million company this year, I'm going to look and say, well, I want to be at 10 next year. The opportunities are the only way I'm going to be able to predict that revenue. Because if I don't have opportunities, then I'm just wishing I have 10 million next year. But if I have enough opportunities in the pipeline that the win ratio is balanced, then I'm going to be able to predict that I'll get that 5 million. Or I can predict that I need to do more sales effort and find more opportunities. So the right opportunities help the whole company have predictable revenue. From a sales perspective, having the right opportunities in your pipeline allow you to focus your efforts. Too often when we put opportunities that are unrelated in, our efforts get distracted. We're trying to learn cyber. We're trying to learn model-based engineering. We're trying to say we're a cloud platform, whatever it is, like we're bouncing around and our efforts aren't able to be aligned. An example of an aligned effort is if I say I do DevSecOps, and this is a software development thing. If I say I do DevSecOps, then one of my efforts might be to learn what everybody is saying within the Navy or within DoD about DevSecOps. And so I'll download strategic documents. I'll go see what they're saying in industry and podcasts and videos. I'll go in and try my efforts around trying to have conversations about, hey, where do you see DevSecOps is going? I heard that they're going to call it SecDevOps. What do you think of that? My efforts are all focused around DevSecOps in that way. But if I don't have the right opportunities in, I'm occasionally switching around and I never really become good at anything. And my efforts really are kind of flighty in that way. The next thing, the fourth bullet here, when you have opportunities in, this is the very first step of capture. So if we've got capture managers, et cetera, that are trying to move forward, then they need to be able to see these opportunities and see the right opportunities. If you have capture managers and they're dedicated to going out and really shaping the opportunity, the requirement side, the acquisition approach, then they need the right opportunities. You don't want them getting started even for a minute on a bad opportunity that's just destined for abandonment, right? And so you really want to track on that. The right opportunities, when I talk about that, and I say align it to your slam dunk opportunities. Imagine you're doing cybersecurity. You want to make sure you're getting a lot of cybersecurity opportunities into your pipeline. Those are the right opportunities for your company, not software development or some of these kind of related, but they're not your core competency. And the reason is because when you have more of these opportunities, you start winning more of these opportunities and you're able to start building more and more past performances that when they look down, they're like cyber, cyber, cyber. Oh my gosh, I should give you a $10 million cyber contract. I should give you a $50 million cyber contract. The way I trust to give you a $1 billion cyber contract or contract vehicle is that you've had lots of cyber contracts, not that you're a cyber expert. It does me as an agency no good for you to be a subject matter expert in cyber. and I'm going to give you a big contract. I need to know that somebody has paid you for it. Somebody has trusted you protect their agency, and then I will trust. And so this helps build, when you have the right opportunities, it helps build all these past performances that then lead to better opportunities, bigger ones. And then, finally, you can't write proposals. You can't write winning proposals, certainly, without opportunities in your pipeline. And so getting those opportunities in is really important. Okay, I wanted to pause for one quick question, thing, just really quick. This is our website. If you haven't seen it before or you haven't seen it recently, it's changed. And so I just want to let you know about this one thing. Ask me anything. I get a lot of people kind of shoot me questions sometimes, and it's in the comments, which is fine, but it takes forever to get an answer back. Use this button. It's on every page. Theoretically, it's on every one of our pages in our website. But if you got a quick question and about something, just put it in. Somebody was asking a question the other day about HubZone. I was like, they put it in there. We see it. We get a message. So I just want to let you know about it. And also right here is this resource tab. In a few minutes, I'm going to tell you about some resources. Just come back to govconchamber.com, go to resources, and you'll find those there. I should have done this as a poll. How often do you think you should look for opportunities? I gave you the answer every single day. Every single day. You don't need to spend a lot of time, 15 minutes a day. And by the way, this is if the primary responsibility you have in your company is capture, business development, sales, right? Every single day, you should be budgeting 15 minutes. And I'll talk about how you can find opportunities in a minute. But when you budget 15 minutes a day, you're hearing about opportunities. It doesn't mean you're qualifying them. It doesn't mean anything other than identifying and looking for new opportunities, right? That one looks good. I think that's a fit. Let's put it into our pipeline, or at least let's put it on my radar. But if you do this 15 minutes every single day, then you're going to get some good traction finding the right opportunities in. If you just do it once a while, it doesn't work. Don't do it weekly. That seems like it's frequent, but it's not. When you want to do certain habits like cold calling to new agency customers, et cetera, those habits will only develop when you do them daily. So you can budget the time. You can time block it so that it's 15 minutes, like I said, but you spend 15 minutes at the start of your day finding opportunities and then like 30 minutes calling people. When you do those kind of things, you'd be amazed at the results you get. So this last two slides I want to talk about, one is who can tell you about the opportunities, and then I'll talk about how or where, right? So when you think about the people who could let you know about an opportunity, where you might learn about an opportunity through conversations with them, et cetera, obviously the program office. And so business development, it has three fundamental responsibilities. Understand the agency better than they understand it themselves. Identify and build relationships within and around the agency. That means with government people and with industry people. And then identify opportunities. And so if you're doing business development and building relationships with people within and around that target agency, then you're, especially within the program office, you're going to hear about opportunities as they talk about it. I mentioned this in previous training where somebody will say, hey, don't forget or don't miss this RFI is going to be dropping. That's how you start hearing about things. Number two, small business professionals. These folks are hearing about many of the opportunities. Every agency is a little different, but primarily the small business professionals, a great way to hear about opportunities, especially if you're able to educate them on your capabilities, what you do, and what you're capable of doing. There's many of you out there who barely have $1 million or less in revenue, but there are multiple of you out there who are doing well north of $20 and $30 million a year, right? I have people who have $100 million contracts, customers, right? And they're still small. Having the conversation with a small business professional and making sure they know, hey, I'm not just a starter. I actually have multiple experience or past performances within this requirement area. So if somebody is thinking about pushing it full and open or large, push it my way. So that small business professional is your advocate within the agency. PTACs, they call them Apex Accelerators now, but these counselors, they have their ear to the ground at the agencies that they support in their geographic area. So make sure you're talking to them. Number four is the procurement center representatives. I don't know if you're familiar with these people, but they have oversight responsibilities, basically, of agencies. If an agency is going to set something aside for full and open, meaning the largest can go after it, these people have to sign off on it. And so they're certainly aware of opportunities. These people are very ideal, the PCRs, for companies doing $10+ million a year because you're the ones who can hold stuff down in the small business pool and not let it go up to the large. You can make that rationale with the PCR to say, hey, we can do this type of work at this scale. So when you work with them, you might hear about opportunities from them. If you're an SBA in particular, but pretty much any small business, but certainly SBAs, you have these bosses, right? The business opportunity specialists, and they're guiding you through the 9-year journey on the 8A program. Make sure you're talking with them and you're engaging. I've got a customer who picked up a contract literally because they stay in regular touch, not compliance touch, meaning once every quarter or whatever it is, right? On a monthly basis. So just, hey, Janie, just calling, saying hi, just letting you know it's going good. 5-minute conversations sometimes, 15 minutes sometimes, but they're just staying in touch so Janie knows what they do. Well, I have a customer where the opportunity came in from the outside to the business opportunity specialist, and they said, oh, you know what? I know this company over here. So you can hear about that from them. Rarely anybody builds relationships with the other people within the district office for SBA as well, but do that. I have a whole set of training on how to work with these mentors. I call them 7 mentors. Number 6 is strategic partners. So these are large and prime companies that you work with or that you've built relationships, strategic relationships with people. So these are people I'm talking about, business development people or capture. They're out there pursuing opportunities themselves and other businesses. Maybe you're an 8A and somebody else is a hub zone or a vendor owned. You can hear about opportunities back and forth. When you build those strategic relationships, your whole goal is to let other people know about things you're hearing. Number 7 is contract holders, and I'm separating this from number 6. Contract holders, you can think about, I just had a customer who got on GSA, or excuse me, 8A Stars 3 today or yesterday, and they just got on it through a teaming partner. You know, they've added them to their list, et cetera. But because they're working with this teaming partner, now they can hear about all those 8A opportunities or Stars 3 opportunities. They're not an 8A Stars 3 contract holder, but because they teamed up with a contract holder, somebody who has won that contract vehicle, now they can hear about all those opportunities. There are tons of contract vehicles, over 100,000. There's tons of contract vehicles. Find out the ones that your target agency or your core competency align most with, and then find out who's the contract holders. Another example is the large primes. If you go into a large prime, you can see the contract vehicles they have, and they'll list out the program manager so they can let you know about opportunities once you've established a strategic and a strong relationship with them. Don't just go in and ask to get something. Build a relationship, and then you will eventually start hearing about these. And the last one, 8, is contracting officers. Obviously, if you keep in touch with them, they're ones who hear about opportunities because, you know, they're driving them. So let's talk about how do you find opportunities. And by the way, 3 tips as I go into this. One is remember to know your slam dunk. Everybody in your company should know what's a slam dunk opportunity for us. The second thing is have a criteria. And again, I've done previous training on this that allows you to qualify or follow a process to qualify opportunities very fast and really validate that they are in your slam dunk. And the last number 3 over here on the red, let others know. What I mean by this is let other people know what your slam dunk opportunity is. Let them know that, hey, these are the opportunities that are slam dunk that we'd love to win. So if you hear about anything like that, let us know. Well, now you're teaching them how to find the right opportunities. So first thing I said about how to find opportunities, it's the fundamental task of business development, right? So business development, understand an agency, build relationships, find opportunities. So do business development in your target agency, 15 minutes a day for the opportunities, an hour a day on business development within your target agency. If you're able to focus down, when you target the Army, the Navy, the DHS, and Department of Education, all these different things, you're never going to do anything well. You really got to trust that if you come down and choose a department, and even an agency maybe, but certainly a department like the Department of Navy, you will get your revenue goals out of there. So number 2, another place to hear about opportunities are these long-range acquisition forecasts. Remember I said on our website, we have a portal. You can go in there and we have a ebook for that lists out all the long-range acquisition forecasts that we could find. So here's all the links. We save you the time from researching to find those links so that you can just get in. It's free, download it. It'll speed it up for you to find opportunities. And something along with that is number 3. Many agencies like the Department of Education, I just posted a how to do business with them this morning. And Gus Phelps right on the team, he found the supplier portal for Department of Education, and we didn't even have it in our in our supplier portal directory. And so you can go back into our website and download the supplier portal directory that we have. Has over 100 supplier portals, and you want to be in there, because when you're talking about finding opportunities, part of finding opportunities is letting the opportunity find you through the people who might try to find you. So if you're in a supplier portal for the Department of Education and they're looking for a company like you, they'll look in their portal and they'll come find you. So anyways, that was a long way of number 3 saying get in the supplier portals. Number 4, GovWin type tools. There's a lot of different tools out there, but GovWin, it is not a capture tool or anything. It's just a Wikipedia of opportunities. But you can go in there and get a lot of good information, right? Don't I go off a little bit on a soapbox, but don't think you're doing sales or capture if all you do is spend time in GovWin. GovWin is just a data repository. It's beautiful. It's got a lot of good information, but that's all it is. Your job is to do capture. So keep that in mind. But you can go into GovWin type tools and find it. In fact, if Deltec or other companies like that want to sponsor us, come on in and I'll start saying your company name instead of GovWin. Number 5, advanced planning brief industry. Advanced planning brief to industry. So APBIs. These are where they come out, and this tends to be around a lot of opportunities within an agency or within an office, within an agency. I share a lot out there, and you can find them. But when you go in, you can find opportunities. You can find the contracting officer that's responsible for that. It's way different than what I find in forecasts. Forecasts typically have a person who does not want to be called because the government hasn't figured out how to get that too good. But APBIs, they tend to have people who, if you call them, you're going to get some traction. And industry days tend to be about one opportunity. You might see more stuff out there, but one opportunity. And so you can drive deep into that. Number 6, and this one's really important about hearing about opportunities. If you're already in the wire, if you already have contracts, then go talk to the people who are around. When I talk about finding opportunities, I had a contract within DOD. It was the Air Force contract. And I worked with, our boss was the colonel. And I would go into his office, and on his wall was like the 5-year strategy for his department that he's trying to run with. And he would discuss it with all of us, like everybody, government and contractors, like this is where we're going. This is what we're thinking. And when you look at things like that, you can begin to see out your opportunities, these things that are just kind of wish list items at the moment. You can also bring opportunities or ideas. I was dealing with somebody today about predictive cybersecurity type thing. And you can introduce that to current customers and then begin to turn them into opportunities. So make sure you have a sales plan around engaging your current customers. Otherwise, you're missing out on a ton. Number 7, there's a lot of associations all around the country. There's like Catalyst Center is a little different association. They're a little bigger on it, but they're down in Huntsville, Alabama. But there's also another one in Charleston. That's an association. Here I put this organization called Fast Rope. I know of it because a friend of mine, Kent, is out in Ohio, and he goes to those events. And at those events, there are mini networking events where people come in and they talk about opportunities in Dayton, Ohio at the Air Force Base there. And hey, did you hear this? Did you hear that? And so you can hear about opportunities coming up through those associations. So try to find the ones that are either local or local to where you want to work. If you want to work in Huntsville, Alabama, for example, figure out ones that are down there and join. Number 8 is FPDS. FPDS is a gold mine. Remember I said at the beginning of this training, go in there and go, which ones do I wish I was winning? Well, when you find the ones you wish you won, put them into your pipeline. They might be 5 years out. Okay, I'll get back to that later. You don't want a ton in there, but you can look at opportunities that are expiring in 2 years, let's say 1 year, 2 years, put them into the opportunity. Into the pipeline, because I haven't done this statistic, but I'd be really curious. And I'm just going to make it up for a moment, but I'd be willing to bet it's something like 70-30, where it's 70% recompete and 30% new. And if anybody's got any data or ideas, put that in. But we all know this, right? There's a ton of work that is constantly recompeted just year after year. Well, that's in FPDS. That's where it starts, where you see the award and you can put that on your pipeline. So that's a great way to find opportunities. And the last one is set up alerts on all these tools that are out there. You can get alert from SAM, and they'll shoot you opportunities constantly. All right, so just remember, in the pipeline, when I say get rid of dirt, I mean get rid of opportunities that are not slam dunk, and keep the slam dunk with your gold. Make sure you're spending 15 minutes a day finding new opportunities, and you'll build a strong pipeline that will lead to the revenue you want. And when it comes to slam dunk, there is no rationalization. Once you define it, it's clear as day. On Monday, so today's Friday, the 14th. On Monday, the next training we're doing is winning proposals. So we're sticking with this 7-step process as we go forward. If you're getting value from the training, please consider becoming a sustaining member, or at least go get benefits from the free stuff we put on the site. And make sure you throw a thanks in there for the team. We've got a good team that puts together this training every day for you. And those thanks get us through the weekend. So remember, government contracting, it is not a secret. It's just a process. Part of the process is relaxing. I'll see you in the next training.